Far beyond the highest mountains, where the sky stretches into endless color, there exists a magical realm known as Irideska, the kingdom of the rainbow sky. Here, rainbows were not just light, they were alive. They curved like shimmering bridges and carried the emotions of the world below. And in this radiant kingdom lived a curious and thoughtful royal, Princess Eleni, the princess of the rainbow sky. While others spent their days weaving perfect rainbows, Eleni had a different fascination. Humans. She would often sit at the edge of the clouds. She saw joy and kindness, but she also saw greed, pride, and selfishness. What makes a heart truly good? She would often wonder. Determined to find the answer, Eleni made a decision. She would leave the sky, not as a princess, but as someone ordinary. Far below, in a quiet village surrounded by dry fields and humble homes, lived a boy named Eshen. Eshen had very little: a small wooden house, worn clothes. He had kind but tired eyes, wearing a simple brown tunic, and a single loaf of bread to last a day. But what he lacked in wealth, he made up for in quiet kindness. He shared what he could, helped where he was needed, and asked for nothing in return. Still, life had not been easy. Many days, he went to sleep hungry, yet somehow, he never let bitterness grow in his heart. One morning, as Eshen walked along a dusty road, he noticed an old woman sitting by the roadside. She looked tired, weak, and alone. "Child," she said softly, "I haven't eaten in days. Do you have anything to spare?" Eshen paused. He reached into his bag and looked at his only loaf of bread. If he gave it away, he would have nothing. No food, no certainty, just hunger. For a moment, he hesitated, not because he didn't want to help, but because he was human, and fear whispered to him, "What if you need this later?" But then, he looked at the woman again, and without another word, he broke the bread in half. He handed her the larger piece. "Here," he said gently, "this will help you more than me." The old woman smiled, a strange knowing smile. "Thank you," she said. Eshen continued walking, his stomach empty but his heart strangely full. But the test was not over. That afternoon, dark clouds gathered. A sudden storm began to pour, soaking the land. Eshen took shelter under a broken tree, shivering in the cold. Then he noticed something else. A small bird trapped beneath fallen branches, trembling in the rain. Again, he faced a choice. He could stay dry, safe, or step into the storm. Without thinking too long, Eshen ran into the rain. He lifted the branches and freed the bird. He cupped it gently in his hands until it fluttered away into the sky. By the time he returned to shelter, he was soaked, cold, and exhausted. As night fell, Eshen sat alone. He had no food, no warmth, and yet no regret. "I hope they're all right," he whispered softly. And then, something extraordinary happened. The sky above him began to glow. Not with lightning, not with stars, but with colors. A rainbow, unlike any ever seen before. From its light descended a figure glowing softly. Eshen's eyes widened. Before him stood Princess Eleni, no longer hidden, no longer disguised. "You gave when you had nothing," she said gently. "You helped when it cost you comfort." Eshen blinked in surprise. "You were the old woman?" "And the bird," she smiled. "I didn't know. I wasn't trying to prove anything." "I know," Eleni said softly. "That is why you passed." She raised her hand, and the rainbow light wrapped around him. The ground beneath him transformed. The dry land softened into green. Trees blossomed. Streams began to flow where there had been none. His village, once struggling, began to change. "This is your reward," Eleni said. "Not for what you gave, but for the heart you chose to keep." Eshen looked around, amazed. But then he said something unexpected. "Can you help the others too?" Eleni paused. "You wish for more?" Eshen shook his head. "I wish for everyone to have a chance, not just me." For the first time, The princess of the rainbow skies smiled with true warmth. Then your reward will be greater than you imagine. The rainbow expanded, stretching far beyond the village, touching lands far and wide. Wherever it passed, it brought not riches, but opportunity, hope, and the quiet strength to choose kindness. And as for Eshin, he lived a life no longer of struggle, but of purpose. Not because he was given everything, but because he had proven he needed very little to be truly good. High above, in the kingdom of Irideska, Eleni returned to her place among the skies. But she was no longer searching for answers, because she had found the truth she had been looking for all along. And sometimes when a rainbow stretches across the sky after a storm, if you look closely, you might feel something more than beauty, something deeper. A quiet reminder that kindness is not measured by how much you have, but by what you choose to give. Moral of the story: true goodness is revealed not in moments of abundance, but in moments of sacrifice. A kind heart gives not because it can, but because it chooses to.